Hello, everyone. I am Bill Worster, aka Zazubaar. I'm not sure exactly what number of the Sons of Serizawa podcast this is, but it's going to be
Apparently, we're getting very close to episode 100.
That I know. I think it's 96. Now that I have to actually think about it, I think it's 96 or maybe 97. Ultimately, it doesn't matter because David Joshua Hernandez, Gorzard, he has emerged from the dank Las Vegas casinos, from the crowds of sweaty tourists and even sweatier vending machines to join us here on the podcast. Hello, David.
I was born to be wild, but the cage was too small.
Very good, David. Very good.
That's one of the few times where something you said actually made sense.
That was actually, I mean, you definitely stole that from somebody, right? Like, where'd you get that from? Tell me right now.
I prefer to keep that a secret.
Oh, God, I'm going to put it on your fucking tombstone, and I'm going to find out where you got it from and put the quote and copyright on it.
David Joshua Hernandez, he was born to be wild, but lived in a small cage.
Copyright whoever the fuck said this, whatever the fuck year they said it, because David would never have come up with something that made this much sense, and is this philosophically compelling.
And the person who's reading this tombstone is like, wow, this is like an entire paragraph
this
here.
This is like a fucking narrative. This is wild. This is like a little...
No wonder this fucker's dead.
This is like a character study. He seemed like kind of a cockstain. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm kidding. He was a beautiful man. Andres Perez, aka Kaiju Noir, is emerging from the depths of Japan to join us here on the podcast. He is also... Hello, Andres.
Yes, hello everybody. I'm here in the rainy afternoon. It's cold. I got my heater on, got my warm kotatsu warming my feet. I'm here, cozy.
Oh my God.
Got work in a couple hours, but I'm still here, ready to do another episode of the SOS podcast.
He sounds excited. Jesus, you've really just melted into that culture, though. You're just like, you are a little, just fucking...
A weeboo.
No, as we've established in the past, he's not a weeaboo. He's been forced...
No, see, if I was a weeaboo...
He's been forced to become one of the locals. It's like when you watch, like, Frankenstein Conquers the World, and you see, like, Nick Adams in a fucking kimono, but he's also got, like a fucking hamburger, like, Kiss the Chef, like, apron on, that you would see at a traditional American barbecue. He's mixing the cultures largely to survive. That's what you have to do, especially in Japan.
I guess so. You see, at least with the weeaboos, I've seen them come and go. I have my friends mostly seen them come and go. They come in with their unrealistic ideals of Japan, thinking it's going to be just like their favorite animes, and then they come in, their hearts are broken and shattered.
Where are the Avas? Why can't I join Nerve?
Yeah. Why does no girl want to talk to me?
They don't talk to anybody. Nobody talks to anybody. It's
very private.
It's like that movie. It's like that movie, A Quiet Place, but without the monsters. Or the monsters are you.
No. You see, the monster is social pressure.
Oh, exactly. Just constantly crushing down on each other.
Like you shouldn't really instead of in that movie A Quiet Place where if you talk, the monsters get you. Here, if you do anything that's different and scary, social pressures will get you.
Damn. I wonder if that movie was inspired by the social structure of Japan.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I hope it was. Now then,
Conspiracy Theories 2017.
Because I always wondered, I was always thinking that it's Japan is more like that. What do you call it? What was that one remake of Invasion of the Body Snatchers where the people find you, they just point at you and scream?
That was the 70s one. Are you alright, Andre? Did you need to take a shit? Like, is that Komatsu too strong?
No, I accidentally scared a Japanese person by being different and scary to them.
They were outside your window, and they just saw you talking to us, and they're like, he's a fucking spy. He's spying for the Mexicans.
The Mexicans want to take over Japan and steal our fluids.
Their fucking pesos are going to infiltrate our very infrastructure, poison us from within. This is the next book I'm going to write, by the way.
Beautiful.
It's gonna be a bestseller. It's gonna really disperse all the racial tension that's been going on in the world. I promise you. So anyway, here we are. A couple of guys talking about mass murder.
We're going into like what was it? Jay Leno territory? Yeah, we gotta get my babies in.
You just gave me a rundown of the news we're covering before we get into the cryptid shit, and
yeah,
it's all really depressing. So I mean, it's not. It all makes me want to fucking step outside of my window and just accept my fate. But instead, I'm talking to you guys.
Which is worse or better or worse?
Either way, I'm not dead. So
better or worse,
the people decide. I leave it in their hands. So why don't we just get into it then? So Andres, you have some things that you were gonna may or may not make us care about. Some vague things, some vague news.
Yes, always.
Indeed, fucking Orson Welles up in here making us scared of the Martian invasion. Is that finally happened? By the way, are we gonna finally be invaded by aliens that Tom Cruise can't save us from? Only viruses and Morgan Freeman's voice can save us from aliens.
I thought it was Will Smith
Or the Avengers. Yeah, I mean, any of these things can step in.
Or Jaegers.
Or Willie Smith.
All right, listen. There have been many movies over the years.
Or Will Smith piloting a Jaeger that can shoot out bullets of viruses.
I feel like Will Smith would
narrated
only
by
be drift
Morgan
compatible
Freeman.
with Jazzy Jeff.
Yes, that needs to be drawn now.
They're drift, the way they would go into the drift is their traditional
rap music.
No, is their
okay?
Is their traditional, the Jay,
Yeah.
And that's how they would.
And then their giant Jaeger is modeled after Uncle Phil.
Yes. And Will would constantly mime throwing Jeff at the monster. And that would be the attack. Like a little tiny version of Jay would fucking come out and
Or he just picks up a building and throws it like Jazz.
And there's a little noise that's like, ah! Oh, we've just written the best fan fiction ever, the best crossover fan fiction ever, where Pacific Rim actually takes place in the Fresh Prince universe, and one of the first Jaegers was Will Smith and Jazzy Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking get on this shit, people who listen to this, if you're out there.
Oh well, so I guess should I start off with the depressing news right off the bat just to get it out of the way?
It's all depressing.
Even the Power Rangers stuff?
I don't know. Why shouldn't Power Rangers depress me? Tell me why. Did you see that shit where Zordon was like, "Hey Andros, kill me and everything will be fine"? What a horrible fucking way to end a kid's show. Horrible, unbelievable. What message does that send to kids?
That self-sacrifice is the ultimate heroic act?
No,
it is?
It's just murder your fucking father figure and everything will be fine. That's what that fucking says. Fucking what is it called? Where you kill one of your parents. I can't remember.
Patricide?
Patricide, that's it. Patricide is fine. That's what Power Rangers is saying to your kids. I just want you to know, America and Japan and all the countries. So
anyways, speaking of death...
Should we start with that? I mean, we already talked about it a little bit.
Okay. All right. So earlier last month, it was announced that not only was Nickelodeon and Power Ranger and Saban extending their deal to produce more seasons of Power Rangers up until, I want to say 2021, but I could be wrong. But they are going to still renew the show for a couple more seasons, for at least a couple more years on Nickelodeon.
As long as they can stand it.
And on top of that, Saban announced that they were severing their ties with Bandai of America to produce the official American Power Ranger toys, which is very crazy because Bandai of Japan has always been the ones to produce the Sentai toys in Japan. So it would make sense that the American version of Bandai, the American side of Bandai, would do the same. And for the last couple of years, the Bandai of American Power Ranger toys have always been pretty much engineered exactly like the Bandai of Japan toys, except smaller, cheaper, less paint, more stickers, less metal pieces, more plastic. So it's just like smaller, cheaper versions of the Japanese toys. Well, later, a couple days later, it was announced that Saban was going to be partnering with Hasbro to produce the new toys from here on out, at least starting next year, I believe. So what is really crazy is that last year, or at least the year before that, Bandai of America was actually working with the Sentai people in order to design the toys/mech designs for the latest Sentai that recently wrapped up, which was Uchu Sentai Q Ranger. Because my thought was that Bandai of America was planning on eventually selling these robots that they designed, these toys they designed, eventually in America as Power Ranger toys. Well, it looks like after all that time of designing something that would appeal to Japanese and Americans, looks like Bandai of America is not going to do that after all, because now Hasbro's taking over. So the toys they spent this whole time designing, they're not going to sell because they're no longer partnered with Saban.
I just remember like the Super Bowl like a bunch of years ago when like they were so sure that one team was going to win, so they mass produced like a bunch of shirts of that team. I can't remember if it was the Patriots or some other team. And then like, the other team won, and they just they just ended up sending all those shirts to like kids in really like underprivileged countries. So if you looked at like fucking magazines about those countries, you just see like kids running around in, you know, Super Bowl shirts of that team, like saying, "Oh, we won."
Oh yeah,
like it's hysterical because you're not supposed to see that shit. Like you never see that stuff in America. Like it gets like buried the second the game ends, you know. So it's very, very bizarre. Anyway, continue.
Right.
But my point is, I'm saying I think we're gonna see that. Like we'll just see like them sending all these fucking like Power Rangers toys they can't sell in America overseas, and then you'll see them in like just these underprivileged countries, and just like, oh, that's a better looking Power Rangers toy than what I bought for my kids for like $25 here, and they got it for fucking free. Bullshit, you know.
And it's really. Yeah, and it's really funny is that I get the feeling that Bandai of America went out of their way to design the robots and toys for Q Ranger simply because I guess they were tired of Bandai of Japan making a bunch of toys that American kids probably would not be interested in. Like there was a train Sentai that they skipped over because American kids don't give a shit about trains that aren't Thomas the Tank Engine.
That never occurred to me as I never really understood the true meaning of that train Sentai until you moved to Japan and you learned how like their fascination with fucking trains.
Oh yeah, trains are super common.
Let's not pretend like, you know, like the hobby train set is a big deal in America. So to some extent we have that. I mean, I guess it's not a big deal, but it's a thing from a thing that is still you know, a prevalent part of culture.
But the thing is, like,
it's not
trains
the same thing though. They're not standing by the fucking tracks in droves taking pictures, which is the thing that you told me where I was like, it's almost like just like the way birds congregate. It's just so bizarre that everybody has the same idea at the same time. You know, like I'm just gonna go take pictures of trains, like just because that's what I want to do.
Well, I never said people were going to take trains. I said everybody uses the train to go everywhere.
No, but it's when you told me at one point that people stand by the tracks and take pictures of them as they pass by.
I don't recall ever saying that.
Oh, I thought we had like a fucking conversation about years ago, like when you first moved there.
I don't remember this, man. I'm sorry, but anyways, there was a train Sentai.
That up then. All right, fine.
There was a train Sentai they skipped over, and then there was the after that there was Zyuohger, which was like the animal Sentai that had the Minecraft Megazord, as I like to call it, where it's just a bunch of blocky cubes that fold into animals, and the Megazord is just a bunch of cubes stacked on top of each other.
That's the one they're doing now, right? As Power Rangers?
No. The one that they're doing now. Oh no. Right now they're currently doing Ninja Steel, the Ninja Sentai,
the next one, though, the one that they announced. I mean,
Oh, here's the thing that they're going to announce, though. So, as soon as they announced that Hasbro was going to take over doing the toys, people thought that, okay, they're probably going to go... Everyone thought that they were going to go for Q Rangers. Everybody thought they were going to skip over the Minecraft Animal Sentai, and they're going to go straight into Q Ranger, which is the space Sentai that Bandai of America helped design the robots for, which are a bunch of orbs that combine together to form a Megazord. Well, it seems like their new show is not going to be Q Ranger, the show that Bandai of America worked on. Instead, the next Sentai series or the next season of Power Rangers is going to be called Power Rangers Beast Morphers. And here is their official synopsis for Beast Morphers. Set in the future, a secret agency combines a newly discovered substance called Morph X with animal DNA to create the Power Rangers Beast Morphers. The Rangers must fight off an evil sentient computer virus bent on taking over the source of all Ranger power, the Morphing Grid, featuring never-before-seen leather suits and an all-new Beast-themed arsenal, including dynamic new Zords. Fans should get ready for a season full of secret ops and more phenomenal fun. So the idea that this is going to be animal-themed and featuring leather costumes makes everyone believe that they're actually going back in time to adapt Go Busters, which was a Sentai series from like 6 years ago that
I remember
initially...
That was a while back.
And so everybody's thinking that they're actually going to go back in time, adapt the Sentai series that they previously skipped over in favor of doing the Super Mega Force and Super Mega Force Sentais. And actually they did Super Mega Force, skipped over Go Busters, and then went right into the Dino Charge Sentai. So... yeah, they're actually. It's strongly implied that they're going to adapt Go Busters here, and that Hasbro will be the first. This will be the first. These will be the first designs that Hasbro will be making the toys for eventually.
So, do you think they're going to have like some original elements as well if they're going to adapt this older Sentai?
I'm not
do you think they're going to have to film more original material? I would say so, right?
It's very interesting.
Not only do they have to adapt it, they have to update it.
I'm not really sure because the funny thing, I've yet to see Go Buster, but a lot of people have, at least Inshoma has highly recommended Go Buster. And I've got the vibe that Go Buster was probably one of the last good Sentais in Japan, alongside Go Kaiju, before the Sentai series eventually just turned into a glorified toy commercial with like 5 Megazords per season. This one, it's interesting that they went back to do Go Busters because it's a much smaller Sentai team. There's only 5 Rangers total. They only have maybe 2 or 3 giant robots. So it's there aren't as many toys to sell here. Maybe that's a good thing on Hasbro's part. Maybe by focusing on a Sentai that featured less gimmicky robots, that gives them more time to work on the few robots that do exist in the show. But then on the other hand, it is going to be interesting to see how Saban is going to approach this show, because they can no longer just throw a new Ranger and a new Zord and a new Megazord every single episode. I'm
the money for that.
Right. And the original source material does not have that many robots to begin with, that much content in terms of toys and costumes and superheroes.
So it'll be a little more old school.
Most likely, yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how Saban will tackle this.
Reach out to older fans?
I'm not really sure, because they've also been going through a rebranding of sorts. I'm going to send you guys.
That's what I mean. I feel like they're trying to go, hey, we know you guys we know the Power Rangers had this bizarre resurgence in popularity a few years ago, and then everybody turned real quick. So come back.
I just sent you guys the new logo for Saban's Power Rangers.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me a lot of the movie logo, where it's just instead of having that arch or that curve, it just has this it's more straight edge.
Here's what they did. They modernized it and threw the colors in there thinking that it's like throwing a bone to fans, going, "Oh, we're still having fun," but they're trying to make it look a little more like, you know, sleek and modern. Clearly,
Right, and
I feel like
here
they could have
is
just like changed the color. And why do they have to put like Saban so prevalently? Like, I mean,
it's like Marvel, you know. It's like it's got to be like Marvel's
but
Avengers,
Marvel is a
Marvel's
little
Iron Man.
logo. If this wasn't just words, it would
Mhm.
be better. If they had, because I mean the Saban logo used to be on the Power Rangers logo, and that was fine because you didn't really think about it because it was like a logo almost. But because
Right.
they write out the words Saban's, like when Marvel did that for the Avengers, that was weird, and that's why they have stopped doing it since then. They don't do that anymore. It's, you know, Marvel Studios, whatever it is, and they don't write it out because it looks weird.
And I just showed you the official logo for Beast Morphers.
Yeah, and that also, it's the same look. I'm hoping that they don't just become really generic, you know.
And with Hasbro, the people behind Transformers actually making the Power Ranger toys, my biggest hope is that they actually make the Megazords posable, because for the longest time as a kid, I was always disappointed with how the toys came out, where you end up with this cool looking robot with like no elbows, no knees. The robot can just move their arms up and down. That's it. But with Hasbro, they proved time and time again, you know, they've seen their toy technology evolve to where you can have robots with elbows, knees, waists, wrists, heels, even like combining robots. Like recently, they've been doing a bunch of combiner robots with like Combiner Wars, Titan's Return, Power of the Primes, all featuring numerous combiner teams like the Constructicons, Bruticus, Menasor, the aerial bots, all of them, and they have like, you know, great articulation for the most part. So I'm really hoping that Hasbro can really succeed at where Bandai of America failed, where Bandai of America simply just went the cheap, lazy route that Bandai of Japan went with their toys. Another thing I really hope for, this is something that a YouTuber by the name of TJ Omega also brought up, is that I kind of hope that they start making Power Ranger toys where, if you notice, like for the longest time, anytime you see a Power Ranger toys, the Ranger figures themselves always look like they're super jacked, where like they're like rippling with bulging muscles like Schwarzenegger or something.
Listen, they
even
inject
though,
each toy with steroids before it's shipped out.
yeah,
It's not a big deal. It's not harmful to children. It's just there for aesthetic purposes, okay? If you have a problem
but that's
with
not
them,
how they look.
but they want to have
Rangers
a good
have never-
self-image. You know, there's
The
nothing
Rangers-
wrong with the positive self-image.
The Rangers have the Rangers were never meant to look like bodybuilders. They're martial artists. It's all about like the slim physique. You know, it's like less Schwarzenegger, more Bruce Lee.
But do you remember when Power Rangers went into its second season, and you know, and they were still carrying over the original 5 plus Tommy, and then they started looking like Hollywood fucking ripped fucking superstars, and it looked really bizarre because they were still supposed to be teenagers, and it didn't look natural. So when they finally recast it, it almost made more sense, because then they looked a little bit, scaled back like they did when they started. Except for Tommy, who still looked like a fucking gigantic monster of a man in high school for some reason, terrifying everybody, including the bullies, who they're just like, don't fuck with him, he'll put you in a dumpster.
And I guess one more note I do want to bring up is that I hope that Hasbro will make more monster toys, because I feel like they haven't been making a whole lot of monster toys since like
any of those in Toy Story.
Yeah. Especially like if you see a monster toy, it's usually in scale with like the Ranger figures the few times they do make them. So it's like, wouldn't it be cool to have a monster toy that's in scale with the Megazords themselves?
There's nothing to fight. Hey, you can have them fight the movie Goldar. They made that toy. I know that. Doesn't that excite you, Andres? Don't you want to have a big melted pile of ghoul and fight?
I like gold. I like gold.
Why am I in ghoul? Hey, man. You know what? I love you.
Thank you.
No,
I needed that.
I'm glad, but I'm quoting Ghostbusters too. I hope that adds to it.
Okay, it does.
Good. I'm happy.
So, what are your guys' thoughts overall on the rebranding, the Hasbro deal, and the Go Busters adaptation?
If people start talking about it being good, I will give it a shot. I have a long history with Power Rangers, so I will definitely come back to it if there's something to come back to. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of the few people who didn't hate the movie. We're all kind of in agreement that it mellowed out somewhere in some field of mediocrity. But it kind of pushed the line for me in some enjoyment factors, like especially the cast and everything.
And by the way, if you haven't seen,
I'm waiting for something to come along and go, oh my god, we know what the fucking franchise.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm waiting for.
Oh, by the way, in case you guys haven't seen it, these are the costumes from Go Busters.
And this is the last time they had outfits like this, which is what they seem to be describing in the release for the press release.
Right. I believe this is the only time where they did not have spandex costumes.
What if it's all original footage? What if that's what they're implying? Do you think that's possible?
Possibly. I'm not really sure. It depends on how well they're able to keep up the quality of these costumes and
maybe
how well
that's the approach that they're going to go with. Sorry, I didn't mean to
No problem. Go ahead.
To cut you off. Maybe that's their approach because the movie didn't work financially. They're going to just make an original TV show. Maybe it's got elements of a Sentai. Maybe they're going to take bits of this, but most of it'll be original content because take the budget you were going to put into the fucking sequel where Tommy may or may not be a girl and make just a new, bigger budgeted season instead. Doesn't that make more sense? Anyway?
I guess so. Yeah, probably. And what was I going to say next? I do know that apparently, according to the ratings, Power Rangers has been on a steady decline ever since its big revival with Samurai, and with I think Power Ranger Ninja Steel being at its all-time at Power Ranger or like Neo Saban's all-time low.
I declined with the Neo Saban era after the first episode of Samurai.
I declined after Samurai ended.
You watched all that
I
shit, man?
I watched all of Samurai. I was like, well, that was something.
Ooh.
Something I'm not going to return to.
Overdrive, but worse.
It's like the thing that kills me with modern Power Rangers is their like incessant need to constantly throw out puns at you every 5 seconds.
For some reason, that they think that that's how people talk now, and if it is, it makes me want to die.
The thing I understand from I also saw the first episode of Megaforce. I was like, no.
I watched the last episode of Super Megaforce and had no idea what the fuck I was looking at, and I was like, why are the old Rangers going into space?
They just took that's the Sentai footage from the beginning of Go Kaiju.
I mean, I think back to stuff like Forever Red, like that was all original footage.
That's true.
It was inspired by a Sentai thing. But it was all original footage, and it was great. You know, it's not like, you know, if you like objectively critique it, even in terms of other Power Ranger stuff, you know, it doesn't all hold up. But like the ideas of that, holy fuck, like definitely more of that, please.
The thing that bothers me about the approach they've gone with modern Power Rangers is that they want to desperately recreate that lightning in a bottle magic that Mighty Morphin had, unaware that the reason why people still like Mighty Morphin is kind of out of irony or out of like nostalgia, but like we are aware that hasn't aged well, but we appreciate it because that was something from our childhood. However,
if they're back to that era in a second.
Right. But like trying to recreate all that cheesy goofiness just doesn't work in this day and age, especially when children's television programming has gotten a lot smarter since then.
Or you can be smarter about incorporating that stuff in, making it cheesy,
true,
making it a little over the top. Like, you know, like
very true. Like the power, like the comics.
RPM,
yeah,
I need to start reading those. Yeah, like just all those different stuff. Like as long as there's a story, we're more than willing to accept cheesy elements.
Right, as long as you make us care.
Yeah, exactly. Precisely. You just need characters that I like. And I don't
but
oh my god, all of these people, please get Kendricks from fucking Lost
Galaxy.
Cast your sword onto a previous character from another season.
Mm-hmm.
That was
But,
some wild shit.
yeah.
She died, man.
Yeah.
We were
Let's see,
fucked.
David. What are your thoughts on
Chingas.
all of this?
Honestly, I don't care. I mean, I'm not
Oh yeah,
gonna watch
because you're a purist. You're a Sentai purist.
Perhaps. Okay, fine. I am. I mean, I don't completely hate the American Power Rangers. Like, I heard that some of the Disney stuff is actually pretty cool. I
True.
started watching Power Rangers RPM.
Yeah.
The one where it opens with this Mad Max thing.
Yeah, that's RPM.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
actually
pretty
pretty
good. Yeah, that one's pretty good.
I
Too.
heard a lot of the Disney productions were actually pretty solid, so I'm going to give...
SPD's great. Dino Thunder's great.
Those were under Disney, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Ninja Storm is a lot better than you might think.
Was that
yeah.
from Saban?
No, that was Disney.
That was
Also,
I liked Time Force.
Time Force is good.
That was Saban.
Lightspeed Rescue's okay. Lost Galaxy's okay. In Space is great.
Yeah.
Turbo is Oh no!
Shit.
There go my eyebrows again.
That's a reference to a pre-recording conversation.
God damn it! Was that pre-recording? I hate it. When
that was pre-recording.
I hate it when I do that. My bad. But still funny.
Anyways,
Zio's.
I probably won't watch the new Power Rangers, as I have not with the last few ones they made.
Mm-hmm.
I tried getting into Megaforce and
no, that's the worst one to get into.
I know. I stopped after episode 2. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is...
I'm the new Zordon, isn't it great? Great, Tiki Head. You're really annoying. You remind me of like fucking SpongeBob.
My name is Gosei.
Battle for Bikini Bottom from like 2008.
My name is Gosei. I trained under Zordon, and this will be the only time I mention him due to nostalgia pandering.
Did Zordon train many Tikis, or were you the only Tiki that he trained? Were you like a diversity situation where you were like, all right, Zordon was like, all right, everybody, so you know that usually I'm a little racially insensitive, but I've been forced by the Eltar elects to let in this Tiki head to our seminars. So this is our teaching people how to punch other monsters seminar.
Jose, que power sombrero.
Yep, exactly. Jose is my teacher's assistant. Gets paid in life. In the room is like not Diva Talks. Whatever her supposed sister's name was from fucking Turbo. I can't remember it. Bunch of that guinea pig from Ninja Storm. He's there. Not a diversity hire, anyway. He knew Zordon. It was like some, it was some shady deal. Like, he paid money.
All right then. So yeah,
this is the Power Rangers I want. This is honest, real, no bullshit. Zordon just feel like, listen, man, if you have to kill a few civilians, I understand. Yeah,
just like you want that Super Sentai show with police brutality.
Exactly right.
Well, who knows? Maybe you might get that with a new Sentai, Lupin Ranger versus Pato Ranger.
I want there to be like an episode where the Cop Rangers, they're like, fuck, we have webcams put on our helmets. This will really jeopardize our secret identities. That'll be great.
They forget to turn it off once they demorph.
Yeah, exactly. It's got a fucking camera sticking out of their head. Start banging their wife and shit, doing anal. It's like that part of Kingsman.
When did this turn into fucking gun caliber?
Like an hour ago. You weren't paying attention.
All right. So moving on to it. Yeah,
I wasn't finished because
what?
Bill rudely interrupted.
I'm sorry, David. I deeply apologize.
Somehow I feel like that.
I've interrupted
that's
enough
sarcasm,
members.
but I'll gloss over it.
I've interrupted enough members of the Hernandez family.
From
I failed you.
Wait, what?
I failed you.
You spoiled me?
I said I failed you doing a Michael Caine impersonation.
just David just like fucking crying at my fucking tombstone.
Going to see you at a cafe in France.
Yep, exactly. That's exactly what you guys know exactly where I hang out. You know where I roll around. You know those French people are like, oh, there goes that Hawaiian shirt, backwards cap wearing fuck. He's great. He's a great guy. He doesn't.
He's looking over at us. He's smiling. He's got this hot chick with him that he
He exclusively eats McDonald's. It's really quite distressing.
We're eating at a McDonald's cafe, a McCafe in France.
Yep. I have a Royale with cheese.
Understood that reference.
Good job, Captain America. You think Captain America watched Pulp Fiction?
I thought that was from Reservoir Dogs.
It's probably
fiction.
No, I'm kidding.
It's probably on his list of to-do things from Winter Soldier.
And then he became a war criminal, and he's like, I can't even eat food. I have to eat cans out of garbages. Why don't they let you stay in Wakanda? And then he's just like, oh, they don't like me.
they let the other white guy stay.
He's asleep. It's fine.
They can still kick him out.
Besides, sure, he's doing weird medical experiments on him. Clearly, he's waking up he's got body parts missing and shit. He's like, what happened to my kidneys? And she's, you don't need those anymore. Okay.
That's the Wakanda accent going
me.
Anyways, as I was saying,
get this man a kidney.
Anyways, as I was saying, I don't care much about the toys unless they make another Dyreno or Thunder Megas or whatever they call him in the American version.
Oh, from season 2?
From
Die Ranger?
Big robot man.
Oh, okay. They did make another Dyreno a couple of years ago. They made the Legacy Thunder's Megazord.
He's so expensive. He's like $200, $300 at Toys R Us. I'm like, really?
I got him for I was able to get him for like $80, I think.
What?
Yeah, I have him right here in my apartment
David
right
just
now.
Fucking exploded. His essence is all over the room.
Oh, Andres, you can't imagine how I'm pretending to choke you right now.
Taking a picture right now.
I feel like I've just entered a horrible serial killer situation.
No, I'm choking my pillow pretending it's Andres right now. Oh.
I bet you do that every night.
Wait, choking Andres?
No, choking a pillow pretending it's Andres. I don't think Andres would let you within 10 feet of him ever again. I feel like he has an active bear on.
There's a picture of my Legacy Dyreno / Thunder Megazord.
How big is it?
You've asked that of Andres a lot, just so you can get the fantasies clear in your head. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. No, I'm not sorry at all.
I am insanely jelly, Andres.
It's very big.
I'm sure.
It's that long.
The only thing I have
is a super blurry
red
picture.
puncher.
It looks exactly like a dick pic, on Snapchat.
What'd you say that he had, David?
Red Puncher or the Red Megazord, whatever they call him in the American version.
I think he's called the Red Warrior or the Red Battlezord, I think, from Zeo.
At risk of descending back down the gutter, what happened to the head?
Oh, it's because I'm taking a picture at a low angle. He's at the top of my drawer, my shelf.
Can't you just climb up the drawer?
That's what I'm doing.
Up the drawer. Interesting.
Andres, if you fall down and break something,
it's fine. We'll send you to Wakanda. You don't need kidneys anymore. It'll be great.
I was gonna say we're gonna bail, but we can send you to Wakanda.
I've got ice cream. It'll be fine. I'm not taking him there though.
Wait, which is that the Bandai one or what is that one?
That's the real one, David. That's the one that's actually from the show.
Obviously.
Okay. There you go. Hopefully you got the photo.
Is that the Legacy one?
There's the skeleton.
That's the Legacy version.
There's a skeleton of a Japanese guy in there.
80 fucking bucks. I'm gonna go on eBay and see if there's one I can barter with.
Or maybe it was $180. I'm not sure. It's been a year since I got this.
So there's one that's
$25 chickens for this fucking toy. No, I don't deal in chickens, Mr. Hernandez.
But
Fine.
anyways, I was able to get the 2010 Season 1 Megazord, Legacy Dragon Zord, Legacy Tiger Zord, and now the Legacy Thunder Megazord. All that's left is the Falcon Zord and the Ninja Megazord, which they already released. The only Mighty Morphin Megazord they never got around to is the Shogun Megazord. And ironically enough, that's the original Shogun Megazord toy. That was the first Megazord I owned as a kid.
Oh, I mean, that makes sense. They introduced that mid-season, and hey, that was Zed's fucking deal. He was like, hey man, I got these crazy Zords, you're not going to believe it. It's going to be wild.
Yeah. What's crazy is that in the original Kaku Rangers Sentai, the Shogun Megazord was actually their first robot, and the Ninja Megazord was their second robot.
They were doing a lot of cocaine in America. They were watching the shows backwards.
Right.
Saban was like,
there's a lot of robots in Kaku
I was
Ranger.
like, why are there so many Rangers at the beginning of this show? And I don't know. Don't worry about it.
We'll turn the ninjas into fucking aliens.
It'll be great.
This could be great. All right, moving on.
He later had a coke-induced aneurysm.
Okay, so moving onwards, we have Yes.
I want to make a small little vague news
thing. You want
thing.
a beast morph?
I want a Dyreno, not a beast morph.
Do you want to morph your beast?
I feel like we're getting into
Which one?
more like potential homoeroticism between you two. I feel like I should leave and let you two just be alone and just and morph into your beasts.
No. In a serious note, Haruo Nakajima was honored at the Oscars tonight, apparently.
Wow, really? That's
Shit.
awesome. I had zero interest in any of those proceedings, and I don't say that to be like, fuck them. I say that just to be honest. But that would have made me want to watch that one part. That's awesome.
A whole 2-hour thing for just one part.
Oh, I thought you meant there was a whole 2-hour fucking part about Haruo Nakajima. And I'd be like, I would have watched all 2 hours. Like, fucking Jimmy Kimmel's like, dude, fucking Godzilla's dead. Like, this is horrible. Like, what the hell?
Wait, he's hosting the Oscars again?
It was Jimmy Kimmel, right? Or was it Fallon? Who the fuck was it? One of those dudes.
Well, I can't tell
It wasn't Moonlight.
I can't tell them apart. It's not because they're white. Just they're both comedians.
Are you worried about offending white people?
Not anymore.
Good. They don't
Because
care.
I feel like
You shouldn't.
yeah, because I feel like I had something for this. I forgot. Okay, moving on.
All right, so the next thing I wanted to talk about is the reboot, which was something I talked about last year or perhaps the year before. Well, a trailer officially went up on February 21st, 2018, titled Reboot, The Guardian Code, and it has not gone over well with fans. It is currently sitting at 954 likes, 11,000 dislikes.
Oh man, they are getting fucked.
This is Ghostbusters.
This is Ghostbusters 2016
all over again.
Fucked.
And guess what? From apparently the people behind the reboot, they're starting to like remove negative comments just to save like some public face or whatever.
What else do they do?
I don't know, man. I just sent you guys the trailer right now so you can see the comments and the like to dislike bar.
So
This
you're
thing,
unreal.
it's so fucking cheap, this thing. And like the CGI barely looks any
Whoa, this is live action.
better. It's live action, and then these kids, they go into the internet world and they become superheroes with CGI that barely looks any better.
that sounds like
their
Ripman.
phones.
Kind of, yeah.
They are just
And
all on their phones.
I also saw like Megabyte, and Megabyte looks like shit. He's like, his design is devoid of any personality that the original had.
I mean, it looks like a Power Ranger show.
Why is it live action?
Very weird one.
Because it's probably live action because they're really cheap and they don't want to spend that much money on animation. That's my guess. So yeah, it's coming out on Netflix March 30th, and it's bound to disappoint fans everywhere.
It doesn't look. Wasn't the original show like not this at all?
No, it was about
It was the
computer
CG
programs. Yeah, it was about computer programs fighting evil viruses within the computer world.
Why
Here
does
it's
it
like
still look like shit?
I don't know.
Because like I don't know if Reboot was revolutionary. I know, I understand.
It has its place in television and animation history.
I get it, but it looks like shit. So why, when they reboot, do they not take the same concept, because apparently the show had good ideas, and then just make it look better? Instead, they
because
go,
they don't because they don't have the money, I bet.
but instead they're like, all right, so fucking Power Rangers and that bad Disney show, that Tron, the bad Disney Tron show, we'll just mix and match.
Actually, the Disney Tron show, Tron Uprising, was very good.
Oh, I didn't. So I'm just going on the trailers and the intro that I saw when I would click away from it on TV. I never actually watched it, but okay. I believe you.
I do highly
recommend. I'm not
it.
somebody who likes Tron as a franchise.
Oh, okay. If you want to talk about a bad show, maybe Mech X. I've heard a lot of negative things about that. That was kind of like Disney's Pacific Rim, except it's like more like still looks like a Disney sitcom or whatever. I don't know.
Fighting monsters, they fight emotional problems.
Probably, I don't know. It's Disney. It's
like the Disney
television.
the Disney version of Evangelion. Oh my god, can you imagine?
Yeah, but anyways, yes, Reboot, the Guardian Code, going to suck March 30th.
It looks like the Ben 10 live action movies. You remember those?
Ooh, I didn't even bother watching the second one. I saw the first one. I was like,
yeah, I saw the first one. The first one, that was a big deal to me when it came out. I was like, oh my god.
Oh, yeah, I
Ben
bet.
10
It's
live
like,
action movie.
Yeah, it's like, well, wow, we haven't had one of these in a while.
The first one, I didn't see the second one. By the time the second one rolled around, I was not in it, because they changed Ben 10. It was all serious and shit, and I was like, I'm not into this.
It kind of got boring after that.
It got very boring. So, and now
sucked out a lot of the magic and fun and innocence.
And now they've made it like they made him younger, didn't they?
They rebooted Ben 10.
That's unbelievable. I mean, I guess it's not that unbelievable.
And they try to make all the character designs look weird and soft and cuddly and cute.
They all look like fucking paper cutouts. Like, that's what they all look like.
Yeah, because nowadays you're not allowed to have any sort of detail or any sharp edges on your character design
whatsoever.
Everything has to look flat and round and soft looking.
Why is everything... What does it look like when they punch each other? Like, anything?
I don't know. Maybe it's like one marshmallow, like spit slapping another marshmallow.
If we put two marshmallows on the end of two different sticks and we just started like fighting each other, like it would probably look like that, like sword fighting style. We should do this and film it, and then have like Patrick or Brayton animate it.
Wait, Patrick can animate things.
Stop. He can stop motion animate.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just assuming. I'm just assuming he can do this.
Have you seen the one movie that kind of made Patrick popular, and that Godzilla vs. Baggin?
That was stop motion animation.
What do you think that he was using when he made that movie, that short film?
My heart just leapt out of my body and is now on the floor, pulsating. I don't know if I'm gonna last.
No, I'm just shitting on his animation skills, Andres. If that wasn't clear,
look, David. No, because you're fucking stupid.
Look,
is this the link to?
Andres sound like Obama dealing with a fucking other country's ambassador. Like, listen.
I want to make myself clear.
Let me be clear. It's not a matter of you eating my Tostitos. It's a matter of them being my Tostitos, and I bought them at the gas station, and you can't have any. Bitch.
Andres just talked Obama's voice for the rest of the podcast.
Listen, you slut. Just imagine that Obama's really angry, but in a very nice way. You goddamn cock-sucking whore.
Okay, moving on.
Yes, the next story.
All right, so there was an individual by the name of Hachim Bajos. Apparently he's a graphic designer who, at one point in 2015, worked for Sony Music.
Is that his legal name?
France. I don't know. Maybe that's his professional, his stage name. But apparently he was working with Sony and created a series of cover art for a bunch of music compilations for Sony Music France and Legacy Recordings France. And he noticed that the new posters for the solo Star Wars story look almost exactly like his own artwork. And so he is claiming that this was, as he calls it, pure and simple forgery. He was not asked for permission to copy his style, and he has been since shared this publicly on Facebook. So here, I'm not sure if you guys can see this Facebook post I'm about to share, but there's the direct comparisons between the solo posters and his artwork for Sony.
Oh man, that's dead on.
Guillermo del Toro proved that plagiarism pays off.
It's not plagiarism; it's homage.
Is it?
No, it's plagiarism. Only because, I mean, they're both really recent things. Yeah.
Are we talking about the artwork, or are we talking about Guillermo del Toro's fish fucking movie?
No, I don't think that's plagiarism. That's homage.
Although
it's the same plot to Splash.
Not Splash. There was another short film that had almost the exact same story. The Space Between Us. Yeah, Matt Denian showed me that short film and was like, "Oh my god, this is The Shape of Water, except more dull and less interesting."
Oh, okay. When did it come out?
2015 maybe, but it was going for more of a post-apocalyptic sci-fi route, whereas The Shape of Water was clearly meant to be more universal horror meets dark fantasy romance.
And Splash was released in 1984, and it was really more like a...
Is this the kid born in space movie?
No.
Because that's the movie that I'm finding that was made in 2015 or 2017 that came out. My bad.
Let me check the Space Between Us.
There's a movie with the same title, but that's not it.
Wait, here we go. I think this is it. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's...
The Space Between Us is, let's see... When the fuck did this came out?
2015?
Well, here's a link for the full short film on YouTube for The Space Between Us.
Interesting.
And the monster himself is more like a handsome mermaid dude instead of a Creature from the Black Lagoon monster.
I know, it kind of looks like the aliens from Avatar.
Yeah, kind of, yeah, like the Na'vi.
It doesn't look all that different from the creature in the movie, though.
Let's see, The Space Between Us. Okay, that's definitely not it.
He also looks kind of like Yondu from the original.
He does.
Guardians of the Galaxy comics.
Yeah. He's got the head fin.
So, do you guys think that this guy has a case for his?
I'm not really sure because with Del Toro, this clearly came from an idea of I want to remake Creature from the Black Lagoon with Universal, except I want to go in a romantic angle. I want to approach Creature from the Black Lagoon from a romantic angle.
He said,
Universal said no, so he decided to build his own story around this concept of his. I don't know if he stole that concept from this short movie or if it was just crazy coincidence, but I get the feeling that
coincidence.
That's what I think.
That's what I think too. It's like two ideas, and they both decided to go with a janitor who falls in love with the fish man who was captured and put into a tube. I feel like they took the basic idea, they went with a similar premise, but went off in wildly different artistic directions with it. You know, this one feels more like cold, hardcore science fiction, end of the world stuff, whereas Del Toro's is more like a small-scale fantasy love story with themes of elements of horror in it.
Yeah, they don't. I think it's like a Swamp Thing, Man Thing situation where they neither one was ripped off from the other. They were both just created coincidentally at the same time because of similar inspirations and atmosphere.
Or like the UK Dennis the Menace meets versus the US American Dennis the Menace.
I had no idea that was even a thing.
It is a thing, and both were made within the same year across both sides of the Atlantic Ocean, and neither author had any idea of the other author's existence.
That's amazing.
Both stories about little children, boys who get into trouble.
Unbelievable. Because the story of the American Dennis the Menace is fucked up. The kid who was, the inspiration for Dennis the Menace, like, ended up as a Vietnam War veteran with PTSD.
Damn.
Yeah.
There's a reboot for Dennis the Menace.
And he didn't see it, and he didn't see his fucking dad for 20 years. And his dad was like, "Fuck you! I have all the money. I'm getting remarried. Your mother's dead, so." Yeah, great dude. So yeah, this movie.
Anyways, yes, Solo, a Star Wars story. It looks like they ripped off that dude's art.
It looks like he got him dead to rights, but this doesn't seem like it could be we had a similar inspiration at the same time. It's dead on though.
Yeah,
I don't think he would win the case.
No, I don't think he will either.
Because it's fucking Disney and they're lawyers.
It's
and
too vague
whatnot.
anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Not to us, because we're just a couple of guys in a room. We can decide on things actually being true. But in a court of law, it's too vague. When there's fucking 15 people who it's up to, there will be too many possibilities.
I want to be on that jury.
I bet you do. Because you'll get all the free food.
That too, and maybe I'll get an early rough cut of the Solo movie.
Yeah, because that's what they'll bribe you with that, sure.
That's the only way I'll vote for Disney. I was like, show me a rough cut of Solo. I want to see what y'all got.
They're like, all right, but we haven't edited in Han Solo yet. He's going to be added in with CGI later.
I'll tell him.
You're just
I'm
like,
assuming he was the most expensive.
You're just like,
He was the most
fucking
expensive
amazing
character.
Yeah, he's the most expensive CGI character of all time. You thought Tarkin in Rogue One was weird? Get ready for just an entirely CGI Harrison Ford.
I thought Denzel Washington was the most expensive CG character.
What's that in reference to?
Because I'm assuming that they have to de-age him for every movie he's in.
Oh.
I mean, you think he still looks sexy?
I just assume that's because
Even
he drinks
outside
the
the
blood
movies?
of the innocent.
That's another option. What do you think The Equalizer was about?
Wasn't that just Death Wish, but like...
Was it? I thought it was like a ripoff of Punisher.
Yeah, well, isn't that also what Death Wish is?
It is?
Yeah, I mean, it's... You killed my family, I'm gonna kill you.
Oh,
Yeah.
What came first, The Punisher or Death Wish?
They all came first.
In the same year?
Dude, that revenge story is so... It's older than fucking antiquity. Like, that idea.
You mean it's older than Andres?
Yes.
Because apparently Andres is the oldest out of all of us in the S.
David, it's older than all of your bootleg DVDs. I assure you.
It's a tale as old as time.
Yes. A physical tale as old as time. Like one of those weird human tales. Like George Costanza in that Shallow Hal movie.
We were all born with tails.
I remember. I was thinking of that just now, Bill.
I just always remember the fucking him walking away from the camera. You just see that shit wagging. It's so wild.
Yeah.
All because fucking genes in your fucking embryo just don't turn on right. They're just like,
Right.
let the tail keep growing. It's fine. It's not a big deal. It's not going to be a problem later in life.
I forgot that was George Costanza.
It's not going to be a problem when you have to fuck a girl.
Yeah.
And you take your pants off and you're just like, so I have to tell you something. So, you know how most dudes only have 3 legs? Right there? I have 4, and it makes pants buying hard. So yeah, we wish you luck. So, David, when you get your tail removed, let me know.
I thought in the movie he couldn't get surgery.
Oh,
what?
Really?
Why do I remember that?
I don't know. It's weird because I saw Shallow like bits of it on TV recently. Because we always put movies on at work. Today I put on Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster because I don't know, I just didn't give a fuck.
Yeah. People come in for the ice cream, they stay for the Godzilla.
Well, it was on in the back. They couldn't see it.
Ah,
Yeah, but it was pretty good.
damn it.
Oh, it's so good though. You just go to the back and you just fucking watch Godzilla getting shot in the dick repeatedly. That's all that movie's about, is just seeing Godzilla get shot in the dick repeatedly.
Yeah,
That's the
I bet it is.
that's the thematic crux of that film. I don't know if you knew that. I'm just informing you.
All right,
It's not
so
a
I guess
fucking
moving
request. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
I guess moving on.
Yes.
So this is a bit of a sad story, but it's thankfully uh, our boy Kevin Smith he had a lot of trouble. He had a rather near death experience, but he turned out all right in the end. This is what a post he made on Instagram that I found. These are his words. I was trying to do a killer stand-up special this evening, but I might have gone too far. After the first show, I felt kind of nauseous. I threw up a little, but it didn't seem to help. Then I started sweating buckets and my chest felt heavy. Turns out I had a massive heart attack. The doctor who saved my life at the Glendale Hospital told me I had 100% blockage of my LAD artery, also known as the Widowmaker, because when it goes, you're a goner. If I hadn't canceled the second show to go to the hospital, the doc said I would have died tonight. For now, I'm still above ground, but this is what I learned about myself during this crisis. Death was always the thing I was most terrified of in life. When the time came, I had never imagined I'd ever be able to die with dignity. I assumed I'd die screaming, like my dad, who lost his life to a massive heart attack. But even as they cut into my groin to slip a scent into the lethal Widowmaker, I was filled with a sense of calm. I've had a great life, loved my parents who raised me to become the individual I am. I've had a weird, wonderful career in all sorts of media, amazing friends, the best wife in the world, and an incredible daughter who made me a dad. But as I stared into the infinite, I realized that I was relatively content. Yes, I'd missed life as it moved on without me, and I was bummed we weren't going to make the Jay and Silent Bob reboot before I shuffled loose the mortal coil. But generally speaking, I was okay with the end, if this was going to be it. I've gotten to do so many cool things, and I've had so many adventures. How could I be shitty about finally paying the tab? But the good folks at the Glendale Hospital had other plans, and the expertise to mend me. Total strangers saved my life tonight, as well as my friends Jordan Monsanto and Iame Emily Dawn, who called the ambulance. This is all a part of my mythology now, and I'm sure I'll be facing some lifestyle changes. Maybe it's time to go vegan. But the point of this post is to tell you that I faced my greatest fear tonight, and it wasn't as bad as I've always imagined it'd be. I don't want my life to end, but if it ends, I can't complain. It was such a gift.
After that, I got afraid to eat at McDonald's.
That was such a crazy fucking thing
McDonald's?
when I saw that on the news, because I haven't been following his podcast in a while. And
yeah, same here.
And all of a sudden, it's just like he had a heart attack. I'm just like, what the fuck, man? So, I mean, I'm really glad he pulled out of it. You know, he always has like really interesting insights on things, and as soon as he gets back into his podcast, I will be fucking back in, because I got to figure out what's been going on. So, like I said, I'm just really glad he's not gone forever, because I think he still has a lot to offer.
Yeah, I feel like that too. I mean, despite the fact that his last couple of movies have been very divisive, if not more, haven't been like all that impressive to the majority of audiences, I feel like he still has a lot to offer to this world in terms of his wisdom, his comedy, his expertise, his views on life. Overall, I feel like he's still a very entertaining guy in more ways than just simply filmmaking. And he seems like he has a lot of ideas that could potentially work in the hands of other filmmakers, perhaps, if he were to be in like the role of a producer of some kind.
Yeah, I think that's maybe a future of his, especially now that this has happened. Who knows? But I like I said, I just hope that this isn't going to be an ongoing thing, and then hopefully he pulls out of it. So hard to deal with. By the way, I just wanted to apologize for the microphone quality that I'm probably having.
Yeah, I noticed that you went quiet there for a second.
Something is wrong with my the usual microphone that I use. It's not working at all, and now it's using the internal mic on my laptop. So I don't know what it sounds like, but I cannot get my Blue Yeti to work. So
I see.
I hope you guys can hear me. I'm going to use that as my only definition of quality.
All right, then, man. Let's see. And should I move on to the final story?
Yeah, definitely. Let's do it.
Okay, so on, what was it, February 21st, 2018, Japanese actor Ren Osugi, best known for playing recently known for playing the Prime Minister Seiji Okochi in Shin Gojira, as well as playing the main villain of the Kamen Rider organization Shocker, Ambassador Hell, in 2 of the recent Kamen Rider movies, had passed away from acute heart failure. And he was 66 years old. And he also appeared in countless movies, worked in many TV dramas, and has been working in the Japanese entertainment industry since the 1970s.
Unbelievable. He was like one of my favorite characters in that movie. And brings a lot of humanity to it, I think. You really believe him in that role. So it's a huge bummer to lose him. And I'm glad that he developed a following over his career, though, because he definitely deserved it.
And I'm very glad he was able to make leave an impact on like Godzilla fans as a whole. Like,
definitely.
Especially like, at the tail end of his life, like very end, he gave like one last performance that is no disrespect to the countless performances he's given in the past. But I feel like with something as big as Shin Godzilla, whether or not you like the movie, that is definitely a performance that will most likely stick with you, I think.
Yeah, and it's also like he's unique in the Godzilla franchise as well, because
Can you repeat that?
Hang on, I think my mic problems are finally fixed, and I'm just gonna adjust it real quick. And then it should be a lot better. Hang on. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. But what I was saying though was I don't remember exactly. Oh, when you're playing the Prime Minister in general, that gives you so much scope to work with. That it's certainly something that you might say, oh, it's easy to make that interesting, but then also you're doing that in the grander scope of the Godzilla franchise and in the grander scope of this insane narrative. And like I said, I just think he stood out at the center of it, and I think that was really impressive. Okay, so now it's reading the good microphone, but I don't know if it's using it. That's the only... Do I sound any different?
Not really.
You still sound like a New Yorker, so that's a positive.
Bizarre. It should be using it. So let's just hope.
Yeah.
Anything else you wanted to add about the gentleman who passed?
I will say that I was really glad to have seen the Kamen Rider 45th anniversary movie that he was in, and it's really, really, really crazy to think that he played the main villain of the original Kamen Rider series. He's not the original actor who played the main villain of the first series. He simply was like the last actor to play him in the character's most recent appearances in the franchise.
I thought it was the original actor.
The original actor was probably like old as fuck, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas
In fact,
he was a little younger, and kind of died before his, a little bit still in his prime, right? In his 60s, right?
Right. Mid-60s. The original actor who played the main villain of the original Kamen Rider, he died in 93.
Damn.
Did he get to see Jurassic Park at least?
It was September 19th, 1993.
Yes,
so I want to say
got to see Jurassic Park.
Unless Japan decided to be an asshole with their release dates and decided to release it in like December or whatever.
Oh, fuck.
They likely did.
Fuck. Damn, man. He went out not seeing that Tyrannosaurus scene. Who could...
Bill, if it makes you feel any better, Meryl Streep saw Jurassic Park.
Oh, my God.
Meryl Streep has done everything at this point.
She killed several men. But yeah. Andre, so that's the vaguest of the vague news, correct?
Yes, that is the end of the vague news.
Indeed. Well, it was so vague that I don't feel any need to do any of my cryptid news or any of my game, because I think it would take up too much time. So I'm going to save all that, and we're just going to jump right into the commentary, and we are going to watch an episode of Monster Quest from back in the day. So I have my link here. I'm going to put it in the...
I thought we were watching Balto, Bill.
David, we're never ever going to watch Balto until we're all in person and I can rent out a movie theater and we'll fucking watch Balto. It'll be great.
So who the hell rents movies nowadays?
No, we're going to rent a movie theater.
Oh.
So that's the only way you watch
Far
Balto.
more realistic, Andres.
Right.
So you want to watch Balto in a movie theater?
Naturally. Who wouldn't?
What if little kids come in, they want to watch it, and we have to be dicks about it and say,
We'll
get
murder
the
them,
fuck off.
it's
It's private party.
Like I
That's
said,
fine?
I just said we'll murder them. It's fine.
Or we can charge each child like $1. Make some money
I
off
guess,
this.
I guess we can do that as opposed to murdering them. I mean, suppose that's an option if you want to be weird about it.
So you want to go this Annex Skywalker route
Always.
with the younglings?
Always, son. What the fuck, man? How come Google Chrome isn't blocking ads? I thought Google Chrome always blocked ads. So are you
No,
guys
no,
seeing...
It's Sasquatch attack.
Yeah, we're about to
What's
get
that?
attacked. We're about to be squacked.
We're gonna be
Are you-
sisquitched.
Sisquitch.
Sisquitched.
Yeah, that's the new brand of Nesquik. It's a little gross. It's a little hairy. Are you guys ads on yours?
I
No.
don't see a link at all.
I
Did you send it
I
on
have
Skype or
fuckers.
Facebook?
Yeah, I sent it on Skype.
Can you send it again? Because I didn't see it.
That's so weird. You guys fucking not getting my links for it. Bunch of fucking bullshit. I just sent it twice.
I just still don't see it. So maybe can you send it on Facebook?
Alright, I'll try on Facebook. Fucking
Your software is outdated, Bill.
I literally just got a brand new laptop like a month ago.
You got ripped off.
You know what, David? Next thing that's gonna get ripped off, your face. I'm
Oh.
sorry. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be so violent tonight. I'm very, very emotional. I feel I've been speckled.
So this is not the one with Leonard Nimoy.
No, this is a way newer show. So, Monster Quest. History Channel. The mid-2000s. This was my cryptid show, man. This was what I watched day in, day out. When I was sick and home from school, this is what went on. I would watch marathons of this for like 4 or 5 hours. Just fucking...
All right.
Northwestern octopi, fucking yetis, fucking hillbilly beasts, Loch Nessie dead, all kinds of crazy fucking shit. This was the definitive cryptid show for me.
Now, I hate to rush you, but I have to leave in 45 minutes, and I notice that this program is 45 minutes.
Oh, yeah, so we'll just jump right into it then. So, Everybody Sasquatch Attack is widely available on YouTube. It's Monster Quest Season 1, Episode 2. So, boot it up, get it to 00, and when you are ready, just like we are all presumably ready, am I presuming correctly?
Yes.
Let's press play in 3, 2, 1, and play. So, the reason why this one is crucial is not simply because it's one of the early ones, but it's because it's one of the only ones where anything happens. Like, where they do an investigation and something seems to happen, or at least they claim something happens. So we're gonna this being one of the few Bigfoot documentaries where that seems to be the case, we're gonna deconstruct it. And this is one of the few documentaries where they seem to get DNA evidence. Everything seems to happen correctly in this one. So we're going to talk about it. And this being one where everything seems to go right for these Bigfooters, it was very definitive to me as a kid. I always watched it when it was on. It, grabbed me the most. It thrilled me the most. It made me the most excited about the idea of a Sasquatch being out there, and the idea of there being some animal out there we're not sure about.
Mm-hmm.
So this captured my imagination the most when I was a kid. So that's why I figured we should watch it.
Okay.
Have you guys seen any of Monster Quest?
Oh, I have.
I'm familiar with it, but I can't recall if I've actually seen an episode. I just remember seeing it all the time on the TV guide.
Yeah.
Once again, Andres disappoints us.
So, David, you've seen this before, right? This is one of the good ones, yeah. So, Snell Grove Lake in Canada reportedly is a fishing cabin with consistent decades worth of some kind of animal attacking the cabin, doing damage that these guys claim bears and people are incapable of doing. And they've got video of the damage, so we'll take a look at it. That's video of the producer of Monster Quest. But the setup of Monster Quest is a little more basic, I think, than a lot of your typical cryptid shows. Usually they're like wacky co-host, and they're out in the woods looking for the cryptids. This one takes a more kind of overview approach. It looks at it from here's all the facts that we know, and a bunch of speculation that is really misleading. We have talked about Monster Quest before when we did the Russian Ape Men episode. You guys remember that?
Yeah,
that was a thing.
Yeah, that mostly comes from Monster Quest. And that episode is one of the reasons why I don't hold this show in much regard now, because it's completely misleading. You spend 40 minutes thinking that, oh my god, fucking Russia tried to create Planet of the Apes, when in reality they didn't.
I remember there was something similar I saw when Trey the Explainer did a video on the Flatwoods Lake Monster, or the Flatwoods Monster, and he mentioned how Monster Quest kind of completely reinvented the monsters solely to make it more interesting.
Yep, they did. They pretty much came up with their own version of it.
Yeah, like some half reptile, half mechanical creature as opposed to the original idea.
Very vague accounts. Yeah, the Flatwood Monster was Bigfoot, man.
Yeah.
It was just another Bigfoot. It was another boggy creek, another bluff creek. Any number of creeks, man. Another Snell Grove Lake. You guys seeing all this damage here, though? This is what they report only a Bigfoot could do. Not a bear.
Are you sure it wasn't just like a crazy homeless guy on PCP?
That's the thing. This place is crazy remote. You have to take a biplane. Not a biplane. What is it called? A plane that can land on water. You have to take one of those to get there. And they're pretty far away from any near habitation. So it's not likely that there will be a homeless guy nearby.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there could be some guy living in the woods. That's often been something that skeptics have put out for Bigfoot. Like, oh, living in the woods, and that's Bigfoot. It's like, okay, I guess. I mean, that's even scarier than the idea of Sasquatch to me. That there's just legions of people living in the woods. But Monster Quest is harder to come at than some of your other cryptid shows because there is no, like, oh, this guy was attached to it. There were a million producers of this show. They made this show because History Channel understood that cryptozoological shows would get views. Shows about Abraham Lincoln's murder weren't making money for them anymore. But shows about ghosts and ancient hauntings and, Sasquatch and all that, those were the ones that drew people in. National Geographic also started to go down that road.
Mm-hmm.
The more cryptid kind of drama road. The History Channel was following in their path, and then they went down it like full on. And then Discovery Channel finally followed in suit later. Didn't go well for them, and now they just make shows about cars. So, all of the decline in these like educational channels.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think happened there?
Let's see. I think it's simply
How are
a
you going to
thing.
approach that? How are you going to approach this question, Andres?
I'm just thinking that it makes sense that they would try to sensationalize a lot of their programming simply because they probably just can't. Either they want to increase their viewership or they don't have in order to, it's kind of difficult to see what the motivation is. They just want to grow bigger these educational channels just want to grow bigger in popularity,
Early
or maybe it's probably that they're doing this not to get bigger, but to keep themselves afloat, to keep themselves from going down, from like shutting down.
Probably. I think early on, it's simply, this is a niche, and we are filling it, and that's getting us viewers. Eventually, that niche that they are filling is the only niche that they are filling.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I think that's why it's you know, you don't even have to call it a decline if you don't want to. You can just call it an adaptation. You know, suddenly, the History Channel is now the UFO fucking...
Aliens channel.
Isn't Pawn Stars on History Channel as well?
I'm not sure. They all kind of blend together nowadays.
Yeah, Pawn Stars and Monster Quest, they really should just be the same show, right?
Well, what I forgot, what was her name? Honey Boo Boo on the learning? Oh, TLC, the learning.
Yep,
TLC,
yep.
The learning channel.
I remember fucking Duck Dynasty was on A&E. Arts and Entertainment. Neither. So the other proposition with this is that Sasquatch, in this kind of context, is different than your traditional American Bigfoot kind of sighting. He's a lot more aggressive, and potentially dangerous. There was an entire episode of Monster Quest where they basically went, we are going to warn people that we are going to have ever more violent encounters with Bigfoot as we push into the wilderness, and that's what's happening now, that it's like this hot-button issue. I'm not kidding. We might have to watch that one at one point. Because what they just do is they go to site, they take stories and witnesses who haven't necessarily seen Sasquatch. It could be anything, you know? Like, there was one lady who claimed that some kind of dog-like thing attacked her car, and they're saying that this is evidence that Bigfoot is getting more aggressive. Here we go. The piece of wood. You guys ready for this shit?
Okay.
So there's a nail board. They left this out as a trap for whatever was raiding the cabin, and they came back and something had stepped on it. Here's what's immediately suspect to me. They didn't take a picture of it when they immediately found it, when it presumably would have looked a lot more
bloody.
Now, they claim that whatever stepped on it long into the season when they weren't there, which is fine, understandable. So it was already really weathered when they got to it, but they still didn't take a picture of it when they first got it, you know. And like I said, there presumably would have been a lot more evidence of it on there, like, because when you see it now, it's all like really, really vague. David, what's your memories of Monster Quest like? Positive, negative, sexual?
Sexual,
of course. What do you remember about this one?
I remember the attack that they never really show it. They just show the aftermath. Even though
what are you talking about? Like, the one that actually happens to these guys that are actually going to the cabin presently, or? I mean, they certainly sensationalize the idea of an attack. I mean, you guys will see. It's not much of an attack. It's more of a rock throw.
More of an annoyance.
More of a mild prank. More of Bigfoot running away, going tee hee hee.
They should just put cameras all over the cabin, like outside.
That's what they say that they do. Oh, do you mean like the guys who own the cabin?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you would think so, but no, they didn't. So you guys are bringing up points that when I was a kid I never thought about, that now I'm like, yeah, what the fuck?
Whoa, holy shit, we got some breaking news. Apparently The Shape of Water won Best Picture.
How is that breaking news? That's been what everybody has been presuming.
Yeah. And Haruo Nakajima was remembered at the Oscars.
I said that earlier.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So
Andres.
we're being told why this nail board is really scientifically important. You guys to tell me what you think about it as we kind of go through this bit. So we got Jeff Meldrum here, who's a guy I actually really like. I really respect him. I think he's done a better effort than anybody else of trying to shed some light on all these stories over the years. But this bit is a little much.
So you think when the human race is gone and aliens find this board with nails,
They'll be like,
they'll
that's
probably
what people were
advanced
like.
technology?
They were just leaving nail boards out for each other. So there's a little bit of residue left. Why would they leave the nail board outside if they thought that
I know.
Sasquatch DNA on it? Why wouldn't they preserve it? Why wouldn't they bring it to a lab right away? I have so many questions. Maybe all this lack of interest or care is in support of the story. Because if the guy was like crazy into it, maybe we would see him as like a psychotic, like fucking just like, oh, I'm so paranoid. But maybe he just thinks, maybe he's not even convinced it is a Sasquatch. Maybe he just thinks he's dealing with some kind of animal and these guys are coming and going, this is what it's a Sasquatch, huh? I don't know. Oh, there's hair. David, were you out there?
I think Dylan has the more hair out of all of us.
I mean, I have the longest hair on my head, so maybe it was me. I stepped on that fucking
We've
bed.
noticed, Bill.
Are you sure you didn't get your mullet caught on there?
I don't have a mullet right now, you bitch.
Okay. You never told us that you got rid of the mullet.
We
been a
just
long
assumed
time.
you let it grow. We were going to start calling you Rambo.
Oh my god, the fucking tension. They were about to show the fucking footprint being drawn, and then they cut. It was exactly like 2014.
So we got to wait until the last 10 minutes to see.
Now I feel like I'm watching The Incredibles. It's like Mrs. Incredible finding a little hair on Mr. Incredible's suit. Who's Bigfoot been sleeping with? Oh my god, he sat on this. It's a butt shape. So they're I don't know what they're outlining. I guess scarring on the screws. He fucked up.
This is starting to get a little bit on the homoerotic side.
See, maybe if they got the camera closer, I would be able to follow it a little better. But it's a little presumptuous, isn't it? Oh, here we go. This is what I was waiting for. Kong Skull Island, eat your heart out. It's a little bit like, is Bigfoot really that stupid? I mean... Oh!
Should we see a lot more blood on that board?
Presumably,
if that's the case?
Yeah, but if it had rained and snow, I mean, I guess not. Maybe the blood would stain more? Did they clean it? Like, are they that dumb? Did they clean the nail board?
I'm pretty sure that mustache has been cleaned.
You know that he excavates that shit. You know, like
The mustache or the board?
Both.
Because right now I'm a little bit more interested in that mustache.
Oh, here we go. 1811 in the Canadian interior. They got some guy's uncle to sit in some fucking skins out in the wilderness.
January 7th. Continuing our journey in the afternoon.
Look at how.
So
like,
is this supposed to be an Indian or just?
No, this is just an explorer. This is a white guy. So this is the other thing that I don't like. I don't know. I feel like they go into these stories, and they go like, "Oh, these are dramatic historical encounters with Sasquatch that prove that the thing is real because it's been around." But all people do is find footprints that are that they sound like bear tracks. This one has claws and everything.
Hmm.
That looks more like a traditional Bigfoot print, I guess.
See, looks like Dylan is available. Bill.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're a. All right. I mean,
We're what?
He might as well. I mean, we're about done. But fuck it. I mean, I guess.
Yes. Speaking of Bigfoots,
All right. So they're showing us pictures of bear prints to try and prove to us why their Bigfoot's different. You guys ready?
Okay.
All right. Those are different bears.
oh damn it! I thought the left one was a fucking Bigfoot one. Kiefer Irwin. Tracker.
Oh, is this the part about the other footprints that don't have claws? Oh, this chick. Look at her. Looking like
That's a
she's
chick?
looking like she's
But
got she's got three billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri, or whatever the hell that fucking movie's called.
I wish I could be a professional tracker. A professional
are they
Bigfoot
really
tracker.
professionals?
A professional tractor.
I mean,
Tractor.
do they have to fill out a license to officially be called a tracker?
No, but you do have to do that if you want to pilot a tractor.
Is it me or is that a bit of a
I'm gonna
stretch?
add Dylan to this. Oh, here we go. What are you stretching?
No, that imprint on some boulder.
Yeah, it does look a little stretchy. Little Stretch Armstrongy.
That's not what I meant.
I know what you meant.
Did you, Bill? Did you?
I did. Dylan, are you with us?
I am, yes, now.
Do you have a link to the thing?
Oh, are you still watching the thing?
Yeah, we're still in the midst of it. We're about done. I'm probably gonna have everybody jump ahead. So why don't you get the thing out and we'll jump ahead to the point that I have in mind, and then we're gonna wrap up. So you can watch the end bit. We'll wrap up the podcast, and then we're gonna conclude because I know Andres has to get going.
All right. Where are you exactly?
All right. Well, hang on. I'm gonna have everybody jump to a certain point. I just have to find. I want. Let's get to the Sasquatch attacks, shall we?
You mean they haven't happened yet?
I mean, let's get to the rock at night. So let's jump to. Oh, okay. This is good too with the birds. Let's jump to about 28 minutes.
20 minutes.
No.
28. Okay.
No. Let's jump to about 28. All right, jump to like 29 minutes on the dot because they're talking about food that Sasquatch might eat. I think you guys will find this amusing. So jump to 29 minutes on the dot if you can.
All right.
So he doesn't eat McDonald's?
Not anymore. He
Okay.
did, but it was no good for his diet. Or maybe I should have you guys go back to the part where Sasquatch swallows too much tobacco.
Sasquatch are very health conscious. They like to make sure that they're on a well-regulated, high-fiber type diet.
Because
don't you have to leave in like 10 minutes?
I have half an hour left.
All right. Well, you should also have some time to prepare yourself. So,
Okay.
well, are you guys at 29 minutes on the dot?
I'm
Yeah.
29:32 on the dot.
Where are you?
Wait, was I supposed to pause it?
Yes.
God damn it!
All right.
All right,
Get
let me go
to
back.
29 on the dot, and then we'll press play.
You should see a very old man.
All right,
He's got a
Yeah.
lot of big feet behind him.
All right, I see a bootlegged version of Leonard Nimoy.
All right, great. Let's press play
Oh.
in 3, 2, 1, play.
Hey, it's Leonard Nimoy.
All right, so let's see what he's
Oh,
talking
he's
about.
now.
We're flashing into his vision. We got another old man walking through the woods. This is Jeff Meldrum, Bigfoot extraordinaire. Bigfooter extraordinaire, sorry.
Oh, I thought that was a Bigfoot hand.
No, this is him. He's stealing Bigfoot's precious berries.
Oh, no.
Bigfoot's hallucinogenic berries. God damn it, he's taking my stash, man!
That could be some mutton chops right there.
I think he's claiming that Bigfoot is eating the bark off trees as well. Which, I mean, it's all possible. If he was a primate, this is probably the stuff that he would be eating. He would be chasing migrating geese.
Like Godzilla.
Exactly. Oh, exactly right. That's how we find out Bigfoot's real. We attract him to a volcano with bird calls. Oh, and then this is the part that I like. So, these birds that live in this part of the world, this is like Bumblefuck Canada. These birds have no fear of man. They're like the Procopsognathus in Jurassic Park 2. You can just don't give a fuck. So he believes that that's evidence for Sasquatch being able to just catch these things pretty easily. Now, I would say the complete opposite, that would support that they're not being hunted.
I would think that if Sasquatch were grabbing these birds, the birds would become afraid of the Sasquatch.
But they would also be very afraid of man, because we're similar.
Right, by extension, they would probably be afraid of... They would probably just be generally skittish.
Exactly. Yeah, so
yeah,
I always thought that was a little bit of a stretch on his part. But hey, man, he's out there. He's collecting his friends from the middle of the woods. He's a good dude. I like Jeff Meldrum in other contexts.
His mistake is not hunting at Boggy Creek. That's where the real action's at.
Yeah, that's where they try to steal your mother. All right, here we go, guys. We're about to Sasquatch attacked. Are you ready? It's very exciting. They're building up the Sasquatch attack fire. Yep, aim the night vision directly into the fire. Good job.
They can only hope that it goes about as well as Yeti, a gay love story.
It's so much better than that.
# review it, Bill.
You see so little.
So, is this triggering memories, Bill?
No, David, you trigger memories of pain and anguish.
At McDonald's.
Yes.
Oh, after that Kevin Smith thing, I'm gonna lay off McDonald's for a while.
Yeah, but that was the interesting thing about that is that he changed his diet like 2 years ago. So.
Well,
yeah,
the
that's
doctor,
a weird. That's a weird thing.
This is all likely. It's all likely like residual.
Yeah, like I don't know if you guys watched his video on YouTube where he talked about the whole thing from his hotel room, from his hospital room. But the doctor was like, yeah, I've been eating right for like years, and the doctor's like, yeah, this started a long time ago.
Right.
It's been a long time coming.
Plus, he's got them. Plus, he's got them shitty heart genes.
Right. He said his dad died of a heart attack. Anyway, did you guys see that 30 seconds of just transition? It was just like the woods with mist rolling over.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Look at this footage. Now this is good. Now this is good Bigfoot footage. Oh my god, so real. Look at the.
These are the different Bigfoot creatures that are sighted all over. Well, that's the Russian Almas. Look at how crafty he is. He's very racist.
Is that opposite? Is that opposite primal?
Racist? Because it's like the Bigfoot looks very strong, very broad, obviously very American, and then the fucking Yeti's all like spindly and got the long beard and the little Fu Manchu mustache.
Oh.
And then the fucking Almas is, like I said, all crafty and tiny and like has like that sarcastic smile, very Russian.
It reminds me of how the good gorilla from Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes was like vaguely Japanese looking.
Yes.
Like he wore the kimono and he had like I don't know, there was something about the way his face was done. It looked very Japanese.
So Jeff Meldrum was talking about somebody urinating off the porch.
So
They had a rock thrown at them. They're very frightened.
I wonder why.
And they're hearing wood knocking. Well, wood knocking is another thing that Bigfoot researchers claim is an activity that Sasquatches do to communicate. You know, they sit there in the woods and they knock wood and they wait to hear a response. You guys, you know the sound that I'm referring to, that it's basically
The Ugandan knuckle sound.
Kind of sounds
basically.
alien language.
Because knocking
like-
wood is a sound that, you know, that is an idea that could mean many different things.
Sounds like that mouth popping sound that drag queens make.
It kind of is. These are his Bigfoot glasses. He has these reserved specifically for seeing big feet.
Maybe that's how Bigfoot evades our notice. Maybe he's been in drag this whole time, walking among us.
But as a female. Hey guys, why is everything green out here? It's really weird. I love that they don't just have like security cameras everywhere. They just have one guy out there just like skulking around.
Yeah, it's great.
You sound so enthusiastic about it. You're like, yeah.
It's
good
fucking
shit.
great. By the way,
I'm kind of amazed no one caught videos of Bigfoot on a drone.
Yeah, I mean, you would think that that's what they would be used for. You know, stuff like that is wilderness like this, but largely they've just been used to deliver people's Amazon shit.
well, do you remember that?
Chop
Do you
off
remember that?
people's fucking hands in parks.
Do you remember that video that we watched of
Oh,
like
there
it
was
was
that Bigfoot drone video we watched, but it was a hoax.
Yeah.
The one
No,
where
not
it
that one.
ran into the bush.
not that one. I was gonna say the one where
Such a dumb idea. Like, oh yeah, we'll do this Bigfoot hoax and we'll have a clear area where it could be trapped.
I don't remember if we watched it on this show or on DFOS, but there was some footage where it was like of like a bird's nest in a tree, and then just down on the ground,
and
you'd
there
see
was a
some.
vague like shadow moving. Yep.
Yeah, was there just somebody up in the top of that tree, like clinging for dear life with a camera, or did they have some sort of a?
No,
of a-
that was just like a it was just like a trap camera. They were called. Oh, by the way, guys, the Sasquatch attack happened. Was it thrilling?
Oh, it was something.
Iraq. That's why they left. They were supposed to stay longer. But they were like, "Oh no, we don't want to get hurt. We don't want to have rocks thrown at us too hard." So now they're having the DNA evidence studied. We got Captain Mohawk here. Dylan, wasn't this guy in the Joe Rogan Bigfoot episode?
I feel like he was. Wasn't this the guy who tested the supposed Bigfoot poop?
Yep.
And found it to just be bear scat?
Yeah, and he also mentioned that they've gotten many DNA samples like this before. This is probably one of the ones he was referring to.
He's not the same. No, that was like a metallurgist or something in the Alien episode where they pulled like the metal ball out of the person who was supposedly abducted and they were testing it. Was it? That wasn't him.
Yeah, no, that was a different guy. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that was some other forensics.
This guy's usually reserved just for animal stuff. Like any kind of cryptid that's animal based is usually what this guy's looking for.
Usually reserved to trying to find Bigfoot, and that's.
Yeah. Well, but he's saying that he got some unknown primate DNA. Like I said, this was one of my favorite ones when I was a kid. Because this was the one where things seemed to happen. But this was also early on one of the reasons why Monster Quest does not hold up. They are so good at misleading you. And that's why the History Channel isn't really the History Channel now. It's the misleading channel.
It's the Ancient Aliens channel.
And you can argue that that's what that's what history's always been. But you know what? You're right. So I'm not going to argue.
Well, no, there's a difference between what History Channel used to play, which was like, here's how Napoleon won the Battle of whatever the fucking French place. But now it's like,
I mean, they
did
probably
a
also they probably also showed that in a really misleading way, but at least that's historical.
now it's all, does this house have ghosts, or did aliens fucking build the Eiffel Tower? Like,
Did aliens fuck our women and produce Sasquatch? Is that the explanation?
yes. I
And
would
we're
like to
keeping
think so.
and they're keeping them a secret, so
Are-
that way
are-
there's a
are-
scandal.
Are Sasquatches poisoning the water to make frogs gay?
Listen,
Definitely.
if frogs become gay, life will still find a way. Jurassic Park taught us all that.
Hmm.
What about the
You've just been
lionesses?
waiting to say that, haven't you, Bill?
Yes.
But what about the lionesses in Botswana who are growing manes, Bill? What are we gonna do about that?
When they grow dicks around their heads instead of manes, then I'll
See?
get worried.
The same thing we do every night, Dylan. Try to take over the world.
Well, that just goes without saying.
And by that we mean watching Bigfoot documentaries.
So if anybody who's listening at home wants a little preview of what happens to your brain when you're friends with Bill for a long period of time, I was watching the Oscars earlier, and Christopher Walken comes on to present some award. I don't remember what the fuck it was. And as soon as Christopher Walken goes,
Christopher Walken Award for being Christopher Walken.
And as
he's
soon
the
as-
only recipient every year.
and as soon as Christopher Walken fucking hobbles off up onto the stage, I just immediately go, ho!
Oh, kids,
Oh.
listen, here we are. Oscars. There's no one named Oscar here. It's a big fucking lie.
I heard we're giving the awards to a movie about a woman who bangs a fish.
Do you have any idea how many fish I've fucked over the years? I don't even want to know.
Even I wouldn't do a movie where I fucked a fish, and I was in a movie where I fucked Grace Jones.
He did fuck her, didn't he?
I also stuck a pocket watch up my ass.
So they got chimp DNA. They're very happy about it. He's happy, can't you guys tell? Excited.
So Bigfoot is related to a chimp?
I mean, we are. So if
something with primate DNA stepped on that nail board. That's what he's saying.
if we go by the theory that Bigfoot is in our family, then that makes sense because, we're mostly chimp.
Right. Well, I mean, some kind of great ape stepped on
Is
that
Amir
nail board.
is Amir's mohawk like off-centered?
Is he trying to destroy us with his eyes? Jesus fucking Christ!
I don't know, but if
He's trying
if
to
he
destroy the camera with his psychic powers, and that's why Bigfoot is real.
I don't know, but if he grew that mohawk out and then braided it, he'd be White Killmonger, and that's something he should do.
He's gonna be buried in the ocean.
Maybe the reason
God
why...
damn it, Jerry! Did you masturbate into the DNAs again?
Maybe the reason why Bigfoot is so elusive is because he's probably the king of a Wakanda empire that we just cannot find.
Yo, maybe it's fucking M'Baku running around in his man-ape costume, going, ooh, 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 and everybody's like, oh, it's an ape.
I think this is where the Monster Quest misleading comes in, because you had the DNA, the actual DNA scientist, who wasn't on the expedition, and he was like, yeah, I didn't really get much. There was some primate DNA on there. And now this guy along, he was actually on the expedition, and he's bitching and moaning about how, oh, we're actually going to, fucking push it and try harder. So I think, he's like going, oh, it's not only is it primate DNA, but it's hybrid DNA.
See, the hybrid theory is always a weird one to me, because we know what happens in real life when people fuck chimps. It's not Bigfoot, it's AIDS. It's a whole different...
He's trying to absolutely ruin the idea that it might have been a human. He's trying to make sure that he knows that this happened, that what we're looking at is an accurate representation.
Okay, so that totally real Bigfoot that just stepped on those nails, pretty small for a Bigfoot, don't you think?
I mean, in relation to there isn't a person, so we don't really know. I guess so.
I mean, he looks like a short dude. Like, if I met that
You know
Bigfoot
what,
in real
Dylan,
life,
maybe not
I would
every
be.
Bigfoot is a, maybe you're making these Bigfoot feel very self-conscious. Maybe they're not all giant. Maybe some of them
Good.
are lower end Bigfoots.
Even Andres feels self-conscious.
See, this guy is like, this guy's pushing it. He's going, I've proven that it is totally new primate DNA. I think this is where like I said, the Monster Quest misleading comes in.
What if big feet are what people will eventually evolve into, and they're time traveling back to study us?
Well, that's the theory about aliens, the Futurians theory.
Exactly. So what if the big feet are also the ones who are in the UFOs?
That was the game that I had ready that we didn't get to do because you weren't here for the rest of the podcast.
Oh shit.
Yep. So you missed it, Dylan. No, we'll do it next time.
Well, you just gave it away.
I mean, it's not the subject. It's not like the game is telling me where the big feet come from. It's never mind. We'll talk about it next time. Okay, this is done. I was gonna say, like, why
Did they ever return to do a more extensive search?
there is a second. There is a sequel. They don't get attacked again.
What do they find?
Nothing. That I remember. I only watched it once because I remember being really disappointed. I remember they bring up in the fucking episode the fact that there's no activity. And how interesting that is and what that could say.
It means that people have better technology to prove fake news.
Well, that, and it's just...
Or vague news.
Vague news.
Listen, we already found Sasquatch, and then we elected him president.
Huh? I think it's more that they spent 3 fucking seasons doing fucking 15 episodes a season about Bigfoot, and they wrung out every fucking possible fucking detail they could, and then they're trying to find all these different unique angles on it, and they flounder, and it just comes off as laughable. And then they're also misleading the little scraps of information they do have, so that way you think that there's a million of these things out there waiting to take over the world.
Yeah, they really should have spread out their Bigfoot episodes. The show's not called Bigfoot Quest.
Yeah. I mean,
it's fine.
It's hilarious. We may do more commentaries on Monster Quest in the future based on the episode titles alone, like the Hillbilly Beast.
Ooh, that sounds like it would be my favorite episode of Scooby-Doo.
Or Giant Squid Found. But alright, guys, that is going to do it for the Cryptids Who Knows section of this week's episode of the Sons of Serizawa podcast. What we learned this week is that Canada, there is a very high likelihood that you will step on a fucking nail board and a bunch of white dudes will show up and fucking get your DNA on the History Channel, man. So, if you got any paternity tests coming up, you better not fucking go to Canada.
We should talk to Brayton about this.
Sounds like the sequel to Get Out.
So next time we're gonna do some more news from Andres, and we're gonna take a break from the cryptid stuff. The Bigfoot game that I had that we didn't do, we'll add it into the Alien game that I have planned in a few weeks. We'll have a special guest on with us. Next time, though, like I said, in addition to Andres' news, we're going to do some more commentaries. We're going to do some more commentaries on some tokusatsu stuff. I don't know what specifically we're going to be doing yet because I'm going to leave it up to Andres, David, and Dylan. I want to do some commentaries on some...
Ooh.
So you guys decide. Whichever one will provide the most conversation, and whichever one you guys think will be fitting to start with. Pick like 2 or 3 episodes just so we have some stuff to work with. It doesn't
And the
matter.
Ultraman or the original Ultraman?
Any show, whatever you guys want to do, whatever you guys want to
Mm-hmm.
do, whatever you think would be interesting to talk about.
You've already seen the Jiris episode, right?
Yes, we watched it at G-Fest.
That's right. Okay.
But we could do that again. That would be fine. Whatever you guys want to do. Pick 3, and we'll do those.
I picked
Okay.
Balto.
Oof. How about the episode with when Ultraman Tiga meets the original Ultraman by essentially going to the real world?
I'm fucking down for that. Yeah, that sounds like wild shit.
Okay.
All right. So we'll hammer out those details over the next couple weeks, and it's going to be next week since we missed this one by a week. So you're definitely going to have some closer podcasts coming up. So look forward to that. But who else has things to announce? Andres, do you have anything you want to announce this time?
Let's see. As usual, you can check out the Primal Warrior Draco Azul comic book Facebook homepage. Sorry, I'm getting my names mixed up now. Primal Warrior Draco Azul Facebook page for all the latest information, as well as extra stuff where I will be promoting artwork or books or comics related to our friends, such as Tyler Soule's recent book, was it Fall Streak? And you can also check out some fan art Fridays, maybe a couple throwback Thursdays here and there. I am planning on collaborating with D-Man 1954. He's planning on doing another Draco Azul update video, a second Draco Azul update video with all the new information I'm giving him in terms of new upcoming projects that Draco Azul will be making official appearances in. Other than that, you can check out my recently completed retrospective on the history of Godzilla in animation. And you can also look forward to the most recent live stream, crazy 4-hour live stream I made with Brayton called Audio Synchronicity. Let's see. Other than that, you can also check out my latest review, which is on, City Shrouded in Shadow. I finally got around to doing a proper review with my good friend, Jonathan. We went I believe we went as more in-depth than any other person, non-Japanese speaking person could do with the video game. So I feel like we were able to provide more information than of most Westerners who have played the game. Let's see, anything else? You can also check out my most recent film noir review, which is on Detour, the 1945 film. And finally, you can check out what was it? I believe there was one more video I've uploaded since then, but I'm not sure what it was. Oh yeah, you can check out the upcoming episode of Shoe Watch, where Chris Martinez and I will be giving an update on the future of the Dorugan comic book, given Chris's recent battle with cancer that he is still going through right now. We give an update on what's going to happen to the series, as well as give a little bit more information on Kaiju vs. Cancer, which has now gotten its official sponsorship / backing and support from St. Jude Children's Cancer Research Hospital. Let's see. Other than that, you could look forward to the two upcoming videos where I've been talking about one being my top 15 favorite giant monsters, as well as my review for Godzilla 1998. Those are the two big projects I'm planning to do in the near future, hopefully.
Awesome, man. Those are all definitely going to be things that you should go to the Sons of Serizawa page and make sure that you are fucking following it to see all these things. Because if you're not, I don't know what we can do for you, man. Life will find a way to your fucking house and fucking stab you in the face. Does anybody else have anything else they'd like to say before I take us off the air
in
the next week?
In the immediate future, Bill and I will start Samurai Month as promised on DFOS. The next one that's going to go up, which probably is up before this video is anyway.
It's going up before this, yeah.
Yeah, so it's already up. It technically was the last video for February, so it's not part of Samurai Month. That we just had to push back the recording and actually recorded it on the 1st of March. But Samurai Month is starting next time we get to record, and we will be covering the first 3 episodes of Samurai Jack. Finally gonna expose Bill to some Jack. So.
And you don't want me exposing myself.
No.
But exposing myself to Samurai Jack is fine. That's cool.
So yeah, that'll be.
As long as nobody else is in the room. All right, yeah, it's gonna be very exciting. I'm watching it tomorrow, so it's gonna be great. It's gonna be swords and demons and Jack. Very cool.
Yes.
That's all I do.
Jack's flat.
David, did you like to announce anything to the people? You want to tell them anything? Any messages for your long lost loved ones?
Kinda. Because of YouTube's fucking algorithms, I lost everything again, so that means I have to re-upload everything again.
Why does that
Oh,
keep
man.
happening to you? I thought the algorithms were supposed to like get rid of people who haven't posted it forever, but all my shit is still up. So like, why does it keep targeting you? Is my question.
Well, apparently,
Maybe they
account-
think you're a spammer.
I hope not. Because here's the silver lining behind all this.
Playbook.
There's one account that has been untouched for the last 5 years. So I'm going to use that one as the launching pad for my new Gorzard.
Gorzard Revenge. Of...
I considered that title, but apparently I can't legally use it.
Why not?
I'm assuming there's legal reasons. I just, didn't bother
Do
researching.
you think YouTube is going to sue you? Do you think YouTube, when YouTube came out, were like, hey, goddammit, you're going to fucking confuse people? And I think that's the issue you're having now.
Probably.
You should get Bono on your side, man. Bono can do anything.
Are you talking? Have you seen South Park? But Bono is shit. Like South Park.
I mean, he had a child who was physically shit, yes?
No. You're misremembering the episode, Bill. Or maybe you only know it through the zeitgeist. Bono was the child who was physically a piece of shit.
Bono is shit.
Gotcha.
I'm assuming I'm doing the accent.
I've seen that one.
So yeah, that's my announcement. I have to redo everything all over again.
Have you thought about not uploading copyrighted material, David?
Well, here's the thing. I've been doing... Okay, I took someone's suggestions to do separate accounts. One account would be strictly for reviews, which is what I've been doing.
Yeah.
One account would strictly be for soundtracks. Another account would strictly be for, TV shows and movies.
Yeah.
The reason why they all got deleted all at once is because apparently they were still connected to the original account that got suspended in, some time ago.
They know who you are at this point. You're an infamous personality to the YouTube board. They're like, oh, fuck, Gorzard again. Oh, no.
I'm pretty sure they probably think I'm a disease by this point.
And the cure is YouTube algorithms.
I'm not entirely... I don't have enough evidence to disagree with them.
And we leave that to you, the audience. So until next time, everyone, Bill Worster, a.k.a. Zazubaar, signing off.
I'm Gorzard, and I have not learned anything at all today because of Bill.
I'm Super Damn 64, and I was here for 5 minutes, so...
I am Andres Perez, a.k.a. Kaiju Noir, and ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly the way it's been.
We've done in-depth testing, and we have discovered that the science is sound.